Can you all see her presentation?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know when you can. Okay, let's let some people in. You see, your magic worked. What can you guys see? Okay, you can't display content. It's fine. We will just share from here. Slideshow. So from the beginning. Good. Tell me, what can you see? Can you all see her presentation? I believe you should be able to do that now.
I am actually seeing you instead of her presentation.
What can you see? You can see me?
Yeah, I am actually seeing you.
You can see the presentation right now.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, great. So she will join us in, and let me just finish up with a few things I was saying earlier. Yeah, I see everyone can see now. She's joining us. Oh yeah, cool. So like I said, please sit still. It's going to be an amazing presentation. And let's have a good time.
Okay. Finally you're here. Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Can you see me as well?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So sometimes network try to have a mind of its own. We have tried a lot of network, but I'm sure that everything is fine and we can go ahead. So my name is Olabisi Afolabi, and it's such a pleasure to be here today. I want to do a quick check, a quick demographic check. So please, if you're here and you are a teacher, can you just type yes in the comments? Yes, I'm a teacher. Yes, yes, quickly. Yes, if you're a teacher, just type yes. I want to know if you have teachers in the room today. Are there teachers here right now? So that I know the people I'm talking to and we can give appropriate examples and just reach us appropriately. We have teachers here. Okay, great. Do we have parents here? Or maybe Chimdi can respond. Chimdi, do we have parents here as well?
I believe we should have parents here.
Oh, okay. So anybody running an NGO here, you just type NGO, trans strategy, I like it, because we have NGO workers here, people who work great. So so I can know fantastic. So I see a lot of yeses. So we have the mixed group of teachers, parents, and also people who work within the NGO space. So I'll just move the examples around as we have the conversations. So before we start, I want to say something. I've already been introduced, so I'll just move on because we've lost a lot of time already. And I'll say that, you see, when we talk about child body safety, it's a fraction of a big conversation. And that conversation is about abuse prevention. So, what do prevent abuse to children? And there are different types of abuse to our children. You have emotional abuse, we have neglect, we have physical abuse, we have issues around sexual abuse, we have different things that we're dealing with, right? So, this area of child body safety is one aspect of abuse prevention. And in that area, we're talking really about issues of sexual abuse. Now, sexual abuse can take different forms. This is I'm saying it's not on my slides. I just want to lay that background. So we have different forms that it can take. Sexual abuse happens sometimes through touch, through speech, and what children can see. I mentioned three things. If you can hear me, put it in the comment section: touch, sight, and what they can hear. That means we can tell them things that is abusive. People can say to a child, "Oh, you're looking very sexy," or even groom them. Grooming is part of abuse, and it happens through words. Even actually saying sexual things to children is abuse that has happened already. And then we also have issues where children are shown things. Thank you very much, Josephine. They are shown things that are sexual in nature, maybe a video, a picture. Some of us that are parents, our children they want to play games. And sometimes these game sites, they have really, really funny way of operating where I'm trying to watch something, I'm trying to see a video, and you're showing me click this link if you're 18 plus. Right, that already shows us that in that circumstance, when we give our children our phones to watch, they can be exposed to things that they can see. Thank you, Freda. Now, that's that can also show you when you show children directly pornographic content, right? And then the last one is touch. And child body safety really speaks to the aspect of sexual abuse that speaks to touch. So this is the sequence. There are different types of abuse, at least 5 that we know: physical, sexual, emotional, neglect, exploitation. And out of that 5, we have what we call sexual abuse. Under sexual abuse, it can happen in different forms. When I give these 3 examples, there are different examples under it, but these are the categories, broad categories: touch, what they hear, what they see. Now, we're focusing on touch today. Do we understand? When we talk about child body safety conversations, and I'm saying that because I want us to know that um, when we talk about issues of abuse prevention, is a very broad issue. And this one is one that can help us touch a base that is very important. And what base is that? The base where people can touch children. By extension, they can be penetrated. There's sexual harassment. There's sexual assault. There are different sides to it, right? Because the moment a child is touched, there's abuse. So touch cannot escalate into different things, but there's contact with the child's body. I hope it's clear. I'm trying to just expand our horizon and our knowledge on this subject. So we have the umbrella, and we're talking today about contact with a child's body. If it's clear, please give me an emoji. Anyone you like. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right. So I've laid that background. Very important to do. Thank you so much for clapping. All right. So what really is advocacy? Last year I didn't touch on this, but I said this year I must explain this. Very, very key. Because you see, many times we do many things that is not advocacy. Let me ask us a question. When somebody does something, we see. I saw a video recently. A child had been flogged in a school, and there had been marks on the child's body. I think it was a command school, right? And people go on social media and they talk about it, and a lot of things are going on in the comment section. Many people think they're doing advocacy, but they are not doing advocacy, including parents, including teachers, including people who are supposed to be knowledgeable in this area. Because what we're trying to do basically is to know how to do this effectively. Don't forget, effectively and professionally, so that we can achieve results. And what's the result I want to see? That children, lesser children, are abused sexually, especially when it comes to contact with their body. Right. So let's go to the next slide. We're going to look at the different types. Now, these are 4 different things that we can see here. There's advocacy, there's activism, there's sensitization, there's sensationalism. Now, all of these 4 things are things that we see every day and we use interchangeably. Now, we can use all of these things to achieve number 1, which is advocacy. But we do not always achieve advocacy by doing the things that are the last 3 things there. You see, when we say activism, what the likes of people go for protest, when they say we are comrades, people let's go. What the VDMs do is not advocacy. Sometimes it's either activism or sensationalism. Now, what some of us do very well is awareness, where we go on social media, we share issues, we talk about it in a way that we want people to know and educate people. That's a type of information, that's sensitization. There's another one, which is sensationalism. And this is where a lot of us, as advocates that try to prevent sexual abuse, that's where we try to fall under. We tend to do what I call sensationalism. And it's said to be presenting stories in a way that is intended to provoke public interest. So most of the times, can anybody be a witness here? When you go on social media and you see those posts, are like, oh, look at this child. Look what has happened to the child. Then we show the child's picture. We show the child's image. We go ahead to I remember a child that was abused in a school. I'm sure all of us saw it here in Nigeria. I know that we are people from different countries here and we have different experiences. But I realized that all of us in Africa, I've met with at least, let's say, 6 professionals in this space in the past 6 weeks. At least I have a meeting once a week with people across Africa doing this job. And I tell you, the issues are the same. We're battling the same issues mostly. The context may differ, but the issues are the same. Issues of the laws that exist in terms of whether or not we can get response, can get justice. Our culture is very, very similar. Attitude towards this is very similar, right? So I want to give these examples and they relate. I want us to like let me know. And if you have other examples from the context, please feel free to share in the comments. Let's keep it moving. So this child went to a private school, yes, in Nigeria, in a boarding school. And after the child got to the school, he was molested by other students, according to the story, allegedly. And that they put their feet and their legs in his anus and all of that. And just to say that housekeeping, if stories like this can trigger you, please feel free to reach out to Chimdi. Because when we talk about these kind of issues, there'll be examples that can be triggering for some people. Please feel free to mention so that she can adequately provide support. Or excuse me for a minute. As I was saying, this child was abused, and guess what happened? The mother of the child and other advocates went about plastering this child's face all over social media. In fact, they got him to go on live videos so that people could see what he was going through. Now, those live videos was public interest. And people will be like, what is this? What kind of school is this? Shut it down. And guess what always happens? That school will be shut down for 2 days or 3 days. Afterwards, it's opened again. Now, the question is, what have we achieved in that circumstance? We achieved punishment for the school. We achieved excitement. We don't care about the impact to the child. We don't care so much about the sustainable abuse prevention for other children. But we have achieved public interest. It has come up. And a symptom of sensationalism is that it doesn't last. After a while, the news fizzles out. Now, if we go up, sensitization is a better place to be because you are educating people, right? But the goal and the best place we want to be is share such messages that can influence change at the highest level. And when I say highest level, maybe with government, but trust me, not all of us are going to have the chance to speak to government, but you can influence decision makers, and that person can be your school principal. A person can be the head of your children's church, but you are influencing decisions. You must see that there's something that is changing in the collective goal, and collective goal is to prevent abuse. I don't know if I'm making sense. Anyone, please let me know in the chat if you get what I'm saying, if you get the difference, and if you're seeing what an advocate really will be doing. Anyone in the comments, let me see if you understand what I'm saying and if it's making sense to you. Great. I see those emojis. So advocacy would influence decision. So to be an effective advocate, you'll be asking yourself, what am I doing to see that decision makers at whatever level, whether it's a parent, whether it's a school lead, whether it's an NGO lead, whether it's a donor, whether it's a board member, whether it's a sponsor, they are making a difference in their decisions. That is when we have advocacy. So as I said before, we can use sensitization, we can use activism to achieve advocacy. But advocacy does not always mean these things. Until there's a change in action or decision, we've not done advocacy. And lastly, that part of sensationalizing, the last one I mentioned here, just to provoke interest, usually does not achieve so much, except just to get quick actions that do not last, right? So I don't recommend, if that makes sense. Next slide, please. So I hope I've gotten it clearly. We know who an advocate is. Somebody that speaks up for a cause, and that cause helps to cause a change in decisions. So that's what you should be as an advocate. Thank you. So who is a child? Let's have a quick brief. I had a session last 2 Fridays ago with an NGO. I was training their board members and their staff members, all the lead staff, everybody in the organization. And I asked this question. I've never had a session actually where I got the same answers. So let's answer this in the light of, I know we have different countries here. So in your country, who is a child? Let's do it that way. In your country, who is a child? According to your laws in your country, who is a child? I want to see this. I want to see the chat moving. Who is a child? Let me check the chat. Who is a child? Who is a child? According to your countries, I saw somebody from Gambia earlier, from different places. Who is a child? Who is a child? Who are we talking about when we refer to a child? Thank you, Chidimdu. Can I have other people? Who is a child? So obviously we are parents here. So at what point does a child stop being a child? A child is somebody under the age of 18. In Nigeria, other countries, can we have other countries quickly? Other countries, especially. Okay, I see that we're typing. That's why the answers are coming in slow. They are here now. I love the engagement in the room, by the way. Amazing, amazing, amazing engagement. Anyone below 18 is a child. Can we have somebody from another country? Who is a child in your country? Somebody from Gambia, somebody from any other country. Who is a child? Cameroon. Okay, I see. Nurse attendant. We don't know. I certainly asking for who that was before, but she said under in Gambia, that is anybody under the age of 18. I'm happy to see this response. Trust me, because we all are unanimous about this. Next slide. And why is this important? Why is it important for us to talk about the age of a child so that we all know who we're talking about? Thank you, Ismaila. Thank you for, I like this that we're having this in Cameroon as well. So we all agree. It's important because when a person is 19 years old, recently we had a case that trended, I don't know if people saw it, where a child was, a young lady was claimed to have been abused by a man in her area, and there was a TikTok challenge. Who saw that? If you saw it, please give me an emoji quickly. You know, she shared that, and people came out and said, oh, you know, this and that, and they began to speak about it. Now, if that was a child, the conversation is different, because once that conversation comes in, that child, we cannot see people dragging, asking questions, saying things. Once it's a child, the way we treat that matter differs. So when we say child body safety, it's important for us to agree that a child is 18. And because of that, it has consensual implications, because a child cannot give consent to sex. So that means that when a person says yes, and as a child, to sex, the child is saying no. Because you would experience in your advocacy journey, somebody will say, oh, the child came on to me. I was on my own, but the child, it keeps coming to me, sitting on my laps, trying to, you know, do stuff. Are we still together? So when you know the age of a child, you're able to say, oh no, this child, it doesn't matter what the experience was. It doesn't matter what the story is. Once a child has been abused sexually, the child could not have given consent. It's not that the child did not give consent. The child cannot. It's a capacity issue. A child cannot give consent to sex. Are we together? So when a child says yes, it's always a no. So the age of consent differs. Some people in the US, they have 16. They have even in the US where they have different states have different experiences. However, according to the UN laws, universal laws, which is the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of Children, and if you are a child advocate here, like we all are, please, there are laws that you must see, which is number one, this one that is on the screen right now. You can just copy it. The other one is the African Charter on the Rights of Children, and any child's right law in your country. You should read it so that you don't speak amiss and you don't advise amiss, because everything rises and falls on the law. So, for example, in northern Nigeria, which I also know happens in other African countries, a child is allowed to have sexual intercourse with a man when that man is a husband. Which other country here has that same experience where children are allowed to marry legally? I'm talking legally now. The Kaduna child's right law in Nigeria is a northern state in Nigeria. It says that a child cannot be sexually. I'm still speaking on that same slide. Or what slide do you have there, Unzubechuku, so I can be sure that we're talking about the same slide. So the slide we have here talks about the age of consent, legal and consensual implications. Is that the same one you have, Unzubechuku? So in Kaduna, the law says that a child is said to be defiled when that child has been, they call it carnal knowledge. When you have a carnal knowledge of a child, that is, there was actual defilement. Defilement speaks of actual penetration here now to a child. It says that that child has been, oh no, we have left there. We have left the slide. Chidimdu, can you check what Uzbechukwu is saying? So it says, however, the exception to that rule of a child being abused is when the child is said to be under a marriage or betrothed by a husband. So we see that in that circumstance, the law changes the story of what that child experiences. But most of the times, and legally and according to global laws and standards, a child is anybody under 18. And if you run an NGO, you should know this, because this would apply to your volunteers, and they would not be able to relate to a person as under 18 in a romantic relationship or anything like that. Are we still together? If we're together, please give me those emojis. Next slide, please. Okay. So why should we advocate protect our children from sexual abuse? Okay, it's not the same for everyone. So maybe check your network as Bichuku. Let's move fast because of our time. Let's move fast to the next slide. Why should we yes, let's stay here. It's because you see, abuse changes because of a child's life. I said this story everywhere. Where I went for the National Youth Service Corps that we have in Nigeria, that is when I decided to move from regular law practice to this practice. Do you know why? Because I saw a 6-year-old child who had been molested when when she was 6. No, she was then 8 years old, and for 3 years of having that experience, the child never experienced any form of justice. The court will not sit today. There will be issues tomorrow around the defendant having a lawyer. So for 3 years, this child was recounting a story of abuse. And guess what that got me? She would come to court every day. She would cry. She would plead. She would say she's no longer interested. Her father is crying. A mother and the child, they've been stigmatized. They've been ostracized. They were sent away from their community. I don't think that we know the impact of abuse on children sometimes. When I see some things on social media, when I see some people speak and be like, oh, every time people are always talking about these things, like as if men or women are bad people. No. This child they was calling the child a dog, because of what has happened to her. She was a woman that was abused. And culpability must lie where it belongs. Who abused the child should be the one that should be ashamed, isn't it? Instead, the child is the one who was seen to have been, in a negative situation and was stigmatized for that. I'm talking about a child who I went to report case for, and that child till now is saddled with providing care for a 2-year-old child. I still supported to pay school fees a few days ago. The child now has a child. The mother of the child lost her business. Everything crashed because of one case of abuse on a child. Abuse dehumanizes. Look at this definition. It says it makes somebody less human by taking away his or her individuality, all the creative, interesting aspects of a child, the personality. You see, if you deal with abuse cases, you see the light go out of a child's eye. And somebody said, except there's divine intervention or some level of coping, that's when a person gets alleviated from the impact of abuse. And even when that happens, it's still a coping mechanism, not necessarily an erasure of what has happened. And when you see people who are hardened criminals, some people who are also abusers, they were once abused. So the impact of abuse is crazy. And that's why we advocate for this. Next slide, please. Are we still together? All right. So how do we do this effectively? Are we getting something? If you're getting something, please give me that thumbs up. Everybody in the room. I want to see those emojis. All right. I want to see them. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So how do we do this? Let's go to the next slide. How do we effectively advocate? Now I want to stay here a little bit. Because you see, we've been having a lot of conversations about child body safety. We teach children different things. We teach them songs. We have IC materials, which are methods that you can use for advocacy. You can use songs. I like to talk about 3 things again. You can act, you can write, and you can speak. Acting means that you are illustrating it. Acting means you can do it through comics. You can do it through movies, different ways. That's how to do advocacy. Sometimes you can do it writing, speaking, and what's the last thing I mentioned? Writing, speaking, and demonstration or acting, right? So write, speak, or demonstrate. These are 3 ways you can do advocacy. And don't forget inclusion as well. So we can illustrate these things in a way that can even reach children with disabilities, actually. Now, when we do those 3 things, whether we speak to a child, we write to children, or we show them things that can help them to understand body safety, we must understand that the responsibility of protection does not lie with children, it lies with adults. Participation is not responsibility. I want somebody to put that in the comment section and say participation is not responsibility. It is not children's job to protect themselves. So we don't rely on child body safety education to children as a means, as the only means of protection. As a matter of fact, who needs this information more when we talk about child body safety is the adults in the children's life. Because when they understand the signs, understand what they need to do, they are able to adequately, protect the children in their life. So we'll talk to children, yes, but I want you to, in your advocacy, target the decision makers in the children's life so that they can make the right decision for the children per time. Are we still together? I won't say this because you see, when you have a 2-year-old child, somebody said they're a parent here. You can say to a child, if somebody touches your private parts, like we usually say, for example, come and tell mommy, this is your vagina, this is your breast, which is fantastic. Children should know the parts of their body. However, when somebody touches a 2-year-old, some 2-year-olds are not even speaking yet. I remember I was doing a session for early years with Afro Care Global last year in the UK and in Nigeria. And I was telling them that some of the children in your crèche right now, they don't speak. They said yes. So when you tell a 2-year-old child, if something happens, come and tell me. Of course, they communicate in other ways, but they don't speak. So there's a limit to what a 2-year-old can tell you. But it doesn't mean that it cannot be taught. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we as adults, we must stand guard as though we have told the children nothing. And that's why everything I'm telling you today, as to what you should say, think first about the adults. And I will think about how do we relate to the children in an age-appropriate manner. Let me check the time, because I can keep going. Woo! 2:41. Interesting. Right. So as I was saying, and I like that I'm spending time here. It's our responsibility as adults to protect children. That's why we have if you go to Child Rights Act of Nigeria, Section 3 says everything must be done in the best interest of the child. It says this act was written for adults, parents, government to see to the protection of children. It is our job to protect children. And I said here that no adult can adequately build their child everywhere. Sometimes your child, thank you very much, Lucas. I want this to be very, very clear because it helps you to take your guard. I know they say that I've spoken to the children. No, it's our job to take care of children. So, of course, you can't be with your child every time. Sometimes, as a parent, you send your children to school, but you have a job on the kind of school you take your children to. I don't know if you get the drift now. As a teacher, you can't be with your child 24/7, but you have a job to ensure that your school has systems in place that can check the child in the playground, for example. So that's things that show you that you can't be with child 24/7, but you still have a responsibility. And a part where we can also use to ensure that we keep that door closed is ensuring that children are taught circumstances and how they can say no and when they can say no. And trust me, children don't have the level of social intelligence that we have had as adults. So we don't expect them to understand every social cues, when a person winks to you, it means they're sending you a sexual sign. But you as an adult, when you see a wink or somebody licking their lips, a child may not know that licking your lips is something sexual. But you as an adult be like, oh, what's that look you're giving to that child? And you can protect that child. Even sometimes without their knowing. Are we together? So, but definitely children can play a role, and we'll see how that will play out today. But it's our duty to protect children. Next slide, please. What children can do is have to say now. We'll look at that very briefly. Next slide. So who do we advocate to? I said we have rings of protection. In the comments again, let's put 4 things: family, community, state, and international community. Family, community, state, and international community. Family is the smallest unit. So every parent here, if you have a husband that is not here, pass the message across to them. If you have a husband, your wife is not here, pass the message across to them. Pass the message to everybody that watches your child for you. I did a video recently where I said that, not posted it yet. And as she said, follow me on LinkedIn, Olabisi Afolabi, follow me on Instagram, olabisi.afolabi. I share valuable information there. Now, many parents, factually, you go to work, father and mother sometimes, we depend on other people to watch our children, right? So everybody that is in that ecosystem that watches your children for you, they should also get the same message. That's the family unit there. That is the primary care that a child gets. Community involves your school, your church, where your child, every other place that your child has interaction is your community. It doesn't always mean your street. It's part of it. Then you have the state, which is the government. And we have international communities. So some people are advocating at that level. right? We have people that are advocating in the UN, have a conversation there. We have people that are talking with the government. I have a privilege to work with the Lagos State government in Abuja. We have conversations. I think we're trying to do a safeguarding policy for the whole of Nigeria recently, last year actually, and we were there for the meeting. I mean, that's some level of advocacy, because when I'm there, I don't think of things I'll be saying there to ensure that things are done the right way at that level. But everybody here has a level that you belong in the rings. So that is who you advocate to. So we can collaborate and protect the child. Everybody has a responsibility and must play it. Next slide. I'm saying so that as an advocate, you can write down in your book, okay, this you have to map your audience to be effective. On my LinkedIn, I know those I write to. If you check, you can tell. Sometimes I'm writing to parents. There are days I'm writing to NGO owners. There are days I'm writing to schools. There are days I'm writing to the government. So you have to map your audience. And before we are finishing today, I want to put in a comment as I'm speaking. Who is the closest person you can advocate to? Let's put in the comments. Who is your closest audience that you can advocate to and get them to make a different decisions or a different decision? Okay, so what's our role as advocates and as adults? Don't forget this class for advocates. So everything I say here, you are passing it across to the adults. Thank you, Fred. Fred as a parent, as a family. Good. So we're already seeing what I'm talking about. So what's our role? Number one, vigilance. I said that before. Somebody said that vigilance is the price that you pay for protection, right? There's an adage in my language that says that boboju lack of insurance. That means the crab uses all his senses to watch. Sometimes you are somewhere, especially for teachers sometimes, but somewhere maybe you are trying to have conversation with your children, or they're teaching, or you're just using your phone, right? And then children, before you know it, a child is touching another child. That's happened. I've had that case before. A child went to the restroom, a 4-year-old student. Now, a student that is senior in the primary, like primary 6, went to the toilet and was touching the boys. Now, this is boy to boy, peer to peer abuse. And sometimes when we are talking about abuse, we don't remember peer to peer abuse. Children actually abuse themselves as well. That's why it's important to teach child body safety and knowledge to children. So these two boys were touching each other. Guess what? The younger boy, I told the teacher, I want to go to the toilet. The teacher said, oh, just go. The cleaner that was supposed to be there to watch, the person dropped the ball. So in the process of dropping the ball, that child was abused. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's vigilance. You are conscious. You are checking. You're asking questions. You are noticing things in your child's body. A child is staggering. You're asking questions. What's happening with you here? What's going on? What's going on? What that questioning and just checking and putting things in place is vigilance. When you see something, you take a second look. Advocates take a second look. Let's put that in the comments as well. Because that second look, I want to say that the devil is in the details. That thing, say, oh, don't worry, it's just a neighbor, it's just a this. No, we check everything about vigilance. That's the first thing. Number two, we learn like we're doing right now. We also teach others. We teach children values. The three major gates that we need to have as advocates is our vigilance, our values, and our access. How we give access to children, which is, as I said, that children empowerment. That's the values part of this now. Do we see the values? Positive values and sexual abuse prevention. Another one is relationship building. That is a low-hanging fruit. Many of us are missing out on this part. We do a lot of talking at children and not talking with children. If you're a parent, exist in your child's ecosystem. Just be present. Your child will tell you things. I just came back from Lagos on a program for International Women's Day. And I saw my niece very briefly. While I was there, I was just sitting down. She said, oh, guess what? I'm stronger than the boys in my class. I fought with a boy in primary 4 and I won. I did unprovoked just by sitting down and just being around her. I said, what do you mean you fought? How did the fight go? And I said, oh, it was just a play fight. They were pushing at the door. If it was something more that maybe she didn't understand to be sexual abuse, she would have expressed it and I would have said, oh, this is something to watch. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. If you're a teacher, the same thing applies. Don't be unapproachable. Somebody said that you don't have to be friends with the children in your life, but you can be friendly with them. You can be warm, nurturing, so that when something goes wrong, you are the first safe adult in their life that they can speak to. Are we together? This one is very, very key. Next slide, please. All right, you have to speak up. You have to speak up. This one is very, very key. Sometimes people will give you names, like you two do. When I see anybody call a child, my wife, my husband, I call it out. I say, no, she's not your child. I see somebody carrying children or touching them immediately, right there and there. I'm advocating to that person so that they can change their decisions right there and there towards that child. We use every opportunity. We apply best practices. I'll talk about this much later, right? We also, I didn't put this here, but we have to protect access to children. So if you run an NGO, you're a school principal, you're a school leader here, before you get anybody to work with children, please vet, and vet. And don't forget we are advocates. So this thing I'm telling to you, I think that you should also tell other people to protect children from abuse. So we keep the access, we keep the door shut. Somebody said that when the I think it's our adage, said when the door is not open, lizard cannot come inside. So how do you keep the door closed? You do your vetting, safe recruitment, continuous checks, asking questions from the children. How is this teacher? What are your experiences like? That is how to block access. And if you're a parent, before you introduce your child to anybody, ask yourself, what are our values? Do values align? So vigilance values, which talks about learning, teaching, explanation, values, and then access. Very, very key to children, right? Next slide, please. Thank you for showing the emoji even before I speak. I love it. So how do we effectively empower children? Let's go to the next slide. Thank you so much for the claps. All right. So there's some children that we call they are abuse proof. They are abuse proof children. Next slide. I'm trying to run. Next slide. Sorry that we may take your time today because you can see all the issues that we had with network at the beginning, right? So to actually protect children, we must empower them. We must tell them what they should know. You cannot shave a man's head in their absence. They must participate. Somebody says, how can we check if someone is not an abuser? Should we answer this now? Children will answer at the end. Or is it up to me?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay, let's answer at the end. But let's note it, please. Just help me note it, children, so in case I forget because of time. All right. So effectively protect children from sexual abuse, we must engage and empower children and help them to play their role in their body safety. Now let's go to the next slide because I can be fast and just move on. This is self-explanatory. Okay, so we must give them age-appropriate information. What does age-appropriate means? It means that you cannot tell a 16-year-old child the same thing you tell a 2-year-old. If you tell a 2-year-old, in case a man comes and he brings his penis and puts it to your vagina and is moving this way, you're describing sex to that child of 6 or 5. You are not empowering the child. You are actually sexually abusing the child. When you give children information that is above their developmental stage, you are actually exposing the child unduly, and that is sexual abuse. That's why you don't show children gory things, show them actual act of abuse. So let me tell you something. I was going to do a video recently explaining about the different types of abuse, and guess what? I told somebody, I said, remove this explanation because when they were showing the thing happening, I said, any child can stumble on this video. I don't want them to see this. This is too much for them, and they had to remove it. So when it's not inappropriate, it is sexual abuse. When it's incorrect, it is likely to be used and put the child in danger. When it's not contextual, so what is happening? For example, a child is going to a doctor. The doctor will touch the child. But the child, nobody must touch you. No, I touch you. Let me know what happened at the doctors. That's context. So we have to. It's a very nuanced conversation, and more. I'm very careful about how we approach child body safety conversations, and it must be complete. Don't say something that when you say just say nobody should touch you, and we stop it there. That's not complete because somebody will touch the child, maybe during sports sometimes, and child goes and says, "Oh, hello, that's my teacher. Somebody touched me sexually." Even though that's a better place to be, because when a child reports everything that's confusing to them, we can then guide them. So I would take a child reporting everything than not reporting at all. But it's still important for us to give them the right information. Next slide, please. So what should we tell children? We'll tell them about how the abuser operates. How does the abuser operate? I'll say 4 things very quickly. A person wants to touch a child's body sexually. They touch them, they profile them, they ask them funny questions. Are you a virgin? Oh, has anybody touched your body? Oh, you're growing up very nicely. They profile and they see how that answer comes. Sometimes profiling does not involve talking. They just watch the child. Which child has no parental control or parental supervision? Again, vigilance. People know when you don't play about the children under your care. They know, right? The profile. Thank you very much for that. Number 2, they groom. That's where you make a child comfortable with the idea of abuse. You call them, oh, my lovely. You buy them gifts. Some people are ash towards the children. They're trying to make them just get their attention. Some people do different things to ensure that the child is comfortable enough so that when they abuse, which is the third thing, they attack the child with actual abuse. And the last one is that they manipulate the child and say things like, oh, don't let anybody husband and wife, they do things in secret, so don't report to anybody, or I'll kill you, the very popular one. That's manipulation. So they profile, the groom, they attack, and they manipulate. No, the 3 is attack, 4 is manipulate. So profile, grooming, attack, and manipulation. Tell the children, you can tell the children that, oh, people can ask you funny questions, or be confident, speak up, so that if someone is looking for weak children, you're not the one. Grooming, then attack, and manipulation. Now, again, don't forget age appropriate. Next slide. Sorry, before I go to the next slide, we have others. Let's go back, please. Thank you. All right, we need to teach them their body parts, right? Not for the purpose of saying that, oh, if someone touches your head, don't complain, no. But so that they can actually properly name them, teach them the right names. No pee pee, no wee wee. I'm sure we know all of that already. We need to teach them the right information. Let's go to the next slide, please, and give them value-based information. Tell them, a 16-year-old, for example, why shouldn't you go to parties where you can be molested? Why should you not allow your drink to be spiked? It's because at that level, they can understand why. So when you have 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, you can go into details of values, where you go to, why do you go there, what are the dangers. As a matter of fact, every child, let them know that instructions are given to them for their own safety. And you explain the why behind your instructions to them as well. Next slide, I've explained this already. The 4 things that business does. Let's go to the next one because of time. Next one. Okay, let's stay here now. Why do we say every part is private to me? I need to mention this one. Some of us say that, what are your private parts? What are the child's private parts? Everybody on the call. Let me check the time again. I'm trying to rush so badly. Okay. So what are a child's private parts? People on the call. What are the child's private parts? I have Ismaila, Freda, Osbechuku, Peace, Bajumo. What are a child's private parts? Well, it says mouth, penis, and vagina. Interesting. Why is that? I wish I could ask. I can ask, why is the mouth, penis, and vagina? Is it because that's used, like for sexual activities, or their sexual organs to the child? So I like this. You mentioned 3 parts of the child's body, but this is it, right? Abusers don't start from the vagina. They don't start from the penis. Okay, so armpit, penis, vagina behind the ear. That's another very interesting answer, because body safety is not a map, right? I know some of us use maps actually, but you see, that map is a very, very delicate thing to do, because people have abused children by giving things. I think last year I give an example of when I was in school and my teacher would shake children, like he would shake you. When he shakes you, I mean handshake, he give you an handshake, and then he touches the inside of your palm. It makes a move, a very central, he's doing something to your hand. He's sending a sexual message of, I want you. He's stimulating the palm for sexual reasons altogether. And now, that is not the part that anybody has mentioned here. As a matter of fact, nobody will mention Ed or before we continue, we have just 5 minutes. Shimja, are we allowed to continue because of time? Can we get people's permission to try to
Yes.
take a few
Okay.
more
So
minutes?
please, we will take permission to take 10 minutes in. So if we can round off like in 10 minutes, that'll be
Okay.
good. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I hope that's okay with everyone. If you have to leave because of the time constraint, please feel free to. You'll get a recording as long as you do your feedback on the website. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have different things here. It says, but anywhere the child gets touched or confused or uncomfortable should be considered a private part. The body boundaries, penis, vagina, armpits. We have different. Someone says, and they feel butterflies, that they should not take it. Wow. So you see, emotions, feelings for children are different. And as I said before, they're growing and things can be confusing for them. So confusion is a good way to tell them, if something confuses you, talk to us about it. Fantastic, right? That's a good one. But sometimes bad things can feel good. And that's why sometimes some children don't report abuse, because they actually it can feel good in the body because they're human beings, right? They can even feel, boys can get erect during sexual abuse situations. And it's a natural reaction. Doesn't mean that a child is bad. So sometimes they do not think it's wrong, especially when it's people that are close to them. Imagine somebody who has been beating you for years, maybe beats you, cleans you up, and then it's cleaning you up like regularly does. But the person is doing it with another intention, or trying to stimulate the child for sexual pleasure. The child might not
My
find
baby
it,
girl, are you done writing that?
Josephine. You want to
Hold on.
meet yourself? I don't have what's media change. So the child may not find this confusing. However, it may be an abusive situation, especially because of us in Africa. We have communal way of living. We have people that are not even uncles and aunts that we call aunties and uncles. So this relationship can become abusive for the child, right? So this is what we should teach children. Next slide, please. All of their body parts from head to toe is private. Let's go to the next slide. All of their body is private to them, right? Let them understand that I have on the screen here, and I'm sure that you get the slides or even get the recording. Private parts, they're genitals. Those are genitals, right? Buttocks, penis, vagina, inner thighs, their lips sometimes. Those are genitals because they are used in sexual activities, like we said before. However, we don't go into all those details with children, especially younger children, right? You can let them know that your genitals should be covered, right? That's the privacy. Private parts came from the point of you should cover up. That's where it came from. So they should be covered. However, it should not be for the purpose of whether it can be touched or otherwise, right? Every part of the child's body is private from their head to their toe. People can touch a child's head to achieve, a sexual effect. Do you understand? So when a child says, "Oh, my body, I feel uncomfortable with this thing," then it should be flagged. Because when we say only your private parts, children are taught that until somebody touches me in my vagina or my penis, that is only when I can report. Next slide, please. So it's incomplete because we are setting up. The people are going to groom them. They're going to talk to them, and they'll be watching and looking because they feel like, "Oh, they've not touched my private parts yet." I don't know if I'm making sense. Please, are we understanding this? I don't want to confuse us. Everybody on the call, please, can we let me know if you're getting it? Right. So should children never be touched? It's that your body is private to you. Nobody should touch it, right? Unnecessarily, only when it's necessary. One is necessary for two reasons: for cautious affection and for care. What does cautious affection mean? Your teacher in school, for example, is giving you a fist bump, is giving you high five, is a quick side of you have done very well. That's okay for affection. Because you can't say, "Oh, nobody should," like uncles and aunts cannot argue, then they're sexually abusing you. No, they can show you affection. However, like we said before, if it feels uncomfortable or it feels in any type of way, please report it. Now, butterfly is a good example. Some people say when you feel bad in your tummy or somehow, whenever a touch feels wrong, you can report it. However, we can let them know that there are times when it's not even necessary at all. Somebody just sees you after and is touching your head. Why are they touching you? Do you understand? So also for care, when you're beating a child of 5 years, beating a child of 4, well, of course, a child of 10, 11, they can beat themselves. So at that point in time, a man trying to beat a girl of 11 years old, a woman trying to beat a boy of 12 becomes unnecessary. And whether another person has evil intention, the child's body is now protected because they understand that I should not be touched at this time. It is not necessary for this person to touch me, to bathe me, because I don't need this level of care. I don't know if this is making sense to us, right? So should children be touched? They will be touched sometimes for cautious affection, sometimes in sports, sometimes in the hospital, for care as well, right? So if you go back to the previous slide, please. The previous one, please. Change the previous slide. Doctor, the previous slide, please. The previous one before this one. One last one. Yes, let's go back a bit. Just one. That's okay. So I said something here. We must prioritize privacy and personal body space over talking about private parts. So our goal is still the same thing. We are protecting the child's body, but we stand a better chance when somebody has not got to a part where they will touch those genitals. Because once the genital is touched, abuse has occurred. We're no longer preventing. It has happened. So to achieve prevention, which is our goal, abuse prevention, we must teach the people that we're advocating to, as advocates, and we must also teach children that the goal should be that they should keep their private spaces, lock doors in the toilet, keep people at arm's length until it is. I give an example, illustration. When I'm talking to children, I show them, does somebody need to come to you too close to talk to you? They will say no. Can you hear me from this distance? They'll say yes. I do practical examples for them. I'll bring a child in front of me. I will start talking to them. I'll say, okay, can you hear me from here? I will do measures of distance where they can hear me, and they say, we can hear you. That means that you don't need so much of close proximity. And that means that once somebody is trying to get too close, they need to exit that situation. So they have more situational awareness other than waiting to be touched before they report. So don't teach children to wait. Teach them to recognize that their private space is theirs and they can protect it, except when there's need in the areas of cautious affection or for care. So we can go back now. So wait, please, do we understand? If you understand, please give me a thumbs up. I want a thumbs up. I want to show that it's clear to us, everybody. So every part of a child's body is private, and that is the communication I will give to people, the right communication, right? Don't forget that advocates, we give complete, correct information. We also ensure that children understand that unsafe situations should be avoided. Let's go to the next slide, please. I want to go to a part that is very, very important. Next slide, please. The next one. So I have let's wait. Before this one, I have a script here. Children would help me to share the script for you. That means everybody here, you can lift this. This is the script I've written. You can just take this where it is and use it to answer with your children. Please, the next one before this one, I think I've missed the beginning. Do you see? Yes. So this is exactly what you tell the child. You can tell the child, see, you're special, your body belongs to you. It is important to have your own space. I have done the messaging for you here. Try to keep about 2 or 3 big steps between you and other people. If someone gets too close, it's okay to tell them to back up. Next slide. Right. So sometimes it's okay and necessary. So like when a family member gives a gentle hug, your teacher gives a fist bump, a doctor needs to check you. This is how you can explain to them. Let's practice. You give them examples, give them situations. They would not tell you, oh no, that's not necessary. That's necessary. No, that's not a touch that should have come. Notice that I'm trying not to say good touch or bad touch, because again, as I said, good touches can be done with bad motives and can be done to groom children. So it's not a bad touch or good touch issue. It's an issue of understanding your private space and necessity per time. And when you're uncomfortable, you see, I said, but remember, even when it's your family member, if you ever feel uncomfortable, you can say no even then. And you give them practices, give them scenarios, because truth is that you may never exhaust all the scenarios, but once a child, especially older children, once they understand the principles, they can apply it. That, oh, is this one necessary? Is it unnecessary? Do you understand now? So the principles and explaining this way helps them more to understand when they are in wrong situations, unsafe situations, not whether the touch is good or it's bad. Next slide, please. So you can take the script and use it. Right. Thank you, Dorcas. Every part is private. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. I said that you should exemplify this by respecting their bodies. Sometimes we tickle children. Children say, stop, 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 and we keep tickling them. No. We should ensure that we are also exemplifying this. Keep the toilet shut. Show them that private space principle. Let them know when you are showing care and when you're actually respecting their body autonomy. When they say, no, I don't want a hug, you respect that as well. So they can know when to say no. Even when it's a family member, you can still say, no, I don't want to be hugged. Even though it's a necessary touch, I can still say no. Right? Let's keep moving because of time. Children must learn to speak up. They must learn to beware of strangers. Next slide, please. They must learn to keep speaking until someone believes them. Sometimes a child tells you as a teacher, you didn't take it seriously, and they stop there. These are messaging that you can use. As I said, you get the slides. You can use the message I give you. You can take it, use the message, adopt it, and spread it as we go along. Next slide. What's time? Okay. Right. This is where I want to be. I mean, we've rushed through a lot of things, but I want to stay here because one of the things that we should achieve today is understanding the ethics and the legal implications when we're doing advocacy. Number one, as an advocate, please don't share fake information. Once you share fake information or unfounded, what does unfounded mean? It means that it has not been decided. You are not sure. And guess what? You may never be sure, because according to number 2, a matter is only concluded. It's a legal, child sexual abuse. Once touch is involved. At the beginning, I thought that there are different types. There's assault. There's different type of abuse, emotional. But what is sexual? And there's things like child defilement, which is penetrative, is involved. I don't forget, I didn't say rape. I said child defilement because a child cannot give consent. So when a child is abused, it's defilement, it's not rape. Because rape means that there was consent and it was not given, right? Let's get that distinction clear. Now, when you share information and has not been determined by a full court, and you say, oh, this man abused, come and see, a father abused his child. Who proved it? because it's a legal issue. What we say is it was alleged that a father abused his 4-year-old child. Somebody claimed. It doesn't mean that you have reduced your advocacy. It means that you have given room for an iota of possibility that this may not be true. And trust me, if you have ever been accused of something wrongly, you will see the importance of that need for that allegedly. You want somebody to give you a benefit of a doubt. We are passionate. I want to say that justice is done, but we don't make conclusions. That's the first things. We don't share fake information, unfounded. Just see people forwarding on their WhatsApp and then you forward it. As a matter of fact, when we forward things that have pornographic content on our phones, it's a crime. We can be jailed for it. According to the Cyber Crime Act of Nigeria and many other countries, even according to UN principles, we don't share children's video or pictures where they were. I see somebody showing a video of a child, they were dancing and the children were twerking, on boys. It's wrong, but you don't keep forwarding and sharing. You're an advocate, but you don't keep sharing children in abusive situations. No, that is also linked to number 3. We don't share news for only agitation. There's always consequence. When you post a story, when you post a message, there's always a consequence. Ask yourself, what is the likely negative consequence of this thing I'm posting on the child? What will it look like for them in the next 20, 25 years when this child grows up? I'm advocating for them, yes, but what is the possible consequence of this my advocacy? Next slide, please. Don't use fear. Every time you post, say something like, many of you, your children are already been abused. No, we don't want to make people afraid and paranoid. So I saw a news of a woman who her husband was beating the child and she ran into the bathroom. The husband has never done anything to give her cause for alarm, according to the story. But just that a man is beating a child, she ran in paranoia because of stories that they've heard. Our job is not to create discord in society. We don't create fear. We don't share personal information. We call something the 3 triangles of risk: face, name, and location. Whenever you are sharing things about children, especially when it relates to abuse, you are not allowed to share their face. It's not done. It must never be shown when body safety issues is concerned. And also, you must make sure that their name, their face, and location is not out at the same time. Face is out of it when it's abused, don't forget. Now, other cases, these 3 must not be out at all times. Somebody put in the comment section for me: face, name, and location. Face, name, and location. Right? Always do a risk assessment. Ask yourself, what can go wrong? People have had news published and the child died. Thank you, Zubechiku. The last one, which is very key: don't go beyond the scope of your reference. You're not the government. There's a limit to what you can do. Sometimes you report and follow up, but don't try to take over the case. Even I'm telling you, there was a time that I've been burnt by that. It became a loop that you don't get out of. You become sometimes even dependent on you. I know they are passionate, but report it, follow up the people that should do their work to do their work. Don't try to do the work of government. It can come back to get you blamed for that. So I think I'll just stop here because for the sake of our time, there's many more to say. As she said, follow me on LinkedIn, check out my materials. I have a masterclass coming up in April on the 18th. I appreciate if maybe Chilingi can share the link with anyone who's interested. You can join from anywhere in the world. I have a masterclass coming up. You can also check the masterclass, come in, learn more about safeguarding, especially if you run an NGO, you run a school. I'll be talking more on safeguarding and how you can cover the base when you are recruiting, how you can create awareness on safeguarding, do trainings, and many more like that. So I'll stop here because of our time. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barry Afolabi. It's always a pleasure to listen to you because we will always be learning something new. Let's say thank you to her in the comment section. But before you do that, please go to her LinkedIn. The emails we sent out this morning, I'm not sure. I'm wondering if we put her LinkedIn profile there. But go ahead and get her LinkedIn and follow her on LinkedIn because you'll get a lot from there. We will share the masterclass in the community when it's ready. When you can send me the link, Barry Afolabi, and I'm going to go ahead and share that with everyone in the comment section if they would want to join in. So please follow her on LinkedIn. And if you're not following Speak Out for Children on LinkedIn, please go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that because we'll be sharing materials and different people that we work with there as well. But please say thank you and share what you've learned. There was going to be a knowledge check. I always like that knowledge check part, but because of our time, we're not going to do that. So please, what is one thing you're taking out of this session? Put in the comment section. I want
Thank
to
you so
know
much.
something that you got from the comment section. Please go ahead and put it there. Yeah, so thank you so much, Barr Afolabi.
One more thing, please feel free to send me
Yes,
your. I like to get feedbacks. Please send me. You can send me on LinkedIn. You can send me right here in the comments, the
exactly.
chat. Please drop your feedback. Let's know a session. When did you learn something? Because we were racing a lot because of network and all those issues. So please feel free to share that you learned something. Thank you. Please go
Amazing. So
ahead.
what we're going to do is, Miriam, we have a feedback post that we always make. So when you put up the flyer for what did you learn from this, or a few lessons that we learned from this, we're going to tag you and we will send a link on the community for the students to go comment. So that would be a good
Okay.
place to also get the feedback from
All
what
right. All
people
right.
have learned
Amazing.
so far.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
you guys should go ahead and please go ahead and share it. But I want to see it here. I want to see it here in the comment section. What did you learn from this session? What did you learn? Yeah, someone said the triangle of risk assessment, face, name, and location. Okay, amazing. Very, very amazing. We're trying not to keep you here for too long. But a few announcements. I don't know. I believe you guys can still see my screen, right? What can you see? Can you see the announcements?
Yes, yes.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Yes.
nurse practitioner. Okay, so please feel free. You're not really your concept note assignment. You don't need to start that now. I think that's supposed to be towards the end. But if you're here, go ahead and start your modules if you've not started. I was sharing the module to, yeah, the program schedule. And the program schedule says that this week you should be doing your module 4 to 6. Please go ahead and do that. Check the website, start, and ensure you use your name in your registration so that your certificates will have your name and we can track exactly who you are. Remember to use the email that you applied with to do your assignment so that we're sure it's our students that are taking our courses, right? And please make sure you go to the comment section where we have this workshop posted to keep your comments. We know everyone who has attended this, so we take attendance of everyone here. But at the same time, if you are having, I'm putting this because this is being recorded. If you're watching this replay, go ahead and comment so that we will know you attended the class. The only way we will mark attendance for this workshop is either we see your name in this attendance or we see that you made a comment after you rewatched the video, right? So thank you so much, everyone. We are over time by 16 minutes and I wouldn't want to go beyond that. Dr. Afolabi, Barrister Afolabi, sorry, I'm calling you. Maybe you're
We're going
planning
to
to get
take
a PhD, who
questions.
knows?
Don't play.
Who
We're going to
knows, you
take
know?
questions, but at time. So yeah.
I
You can
know.
send me your questions on LinkedIn. I'll respond to you personally if you have any questions.
Amazing. Yes, please. If you have questions, please go ahead and put it on LinkedIn. She's going to answer. So Miriam, please take notes. That flyer should be up at most today or tomorrow so that people can put up their questions and all of that. Thank you so much. I came late because of network. Okay, as an advocate, it's important not to use fear as a sole strategy, or share fake information. Yeah, I learned so much about everything is a private part for children. Yeah, amazing. One thing that is exceptional is about the face, name, and location. Protecting children is a collaborative effort. Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing that.
You
I'm
learned.
just
I'm
trying to,
happy. All right.
yeah, I'm trying to see if I didn't miss anything. Please, if you have any questions, community manager is always available. I'm seeing Chioma in the comment section. And thank you so much for everyone that has been here. The team, thank you so much for being here all the while. If you have any issues, feel free to email or message Miriam Chioma on WhatsApp. You can reach them there and they can troubleshoot anything that you have. If there's anything that is worse than that, feel free to reach out to me and we can get things going. Thank you, everyone. If you have questions, put in the comment section. One thing we can do is that we can put what we've learned in WhatsApp. Go on WhatsApp and share one thing that you learned. Someone said something that stood out for me is how effective empowering children, most especially contextual and complete information part. Amazing. I really love that this workshop was really helpful to everyone. So we're going to be ending the session now. Thank you so much for bearing with us that we're 80 minutes over time. I'm excited to see how much everyone is learning. And I am super, super, super excited Is there anyone that has any critical question they want us to address before we end this live session? Do you have any questions? Any questions before we go off? Do we?
Yes, I have.
Oh, please. Yes, go
The
ahead.
one I previously asked, I asked how, as a school owner or a school administrator, how can you tell if one is an abuser at the point of maybe the person applying for the job before employment? How can one actually check that?
Okay, I don't know if Barrister Afolabi is here, but first of all, I'm going to say one thing. One thing I'm going to say is the only way you can know is by doing a background check. There are countries that have feedback mechanism for everybody they employ, and you're able, okay, amazing, she's still here. So before I can just finish what I'm saying, and then she'll go ahead and chip in what she wants to say. Firstly, is that a background check should be done. I don't know if that is being done now in Nigeria. Barrister Afolabi, you help us find out if a background check is being done in Nigeria officially, where people report if you're on the abuse list, you know who this person is. And as a school owner, I feel like if the government hasn't built a system, make sure you build a system of proof of vetting in your own organization. This is one of the things that I always check with people. Everyone that works in our organization, I know one or two things about them, and many of them do not even know, right? So we put our own system in place, and I get to know things about you. I go back to, check things about you to ensure that we know. So put your own system to do that in check. But then second thing I'm going to say is, if there is no proper proof, because you cannot prove enough. What if the person now, your organization is the first place that they're exhibiting that behavior? Is make sure that you have a body safety system in your school, a system that everyone is aware of. And what does that mean? That means that you have, first of all, you have a whatever that your teachers sign. You have trainings that are done, and people know the result of that training. If a school is body safety safe, I used to say this. If I go to my nieces or nephew, I want to know what are the body safety systems you have in this school. And I can see that in different ways. And you must have it systematically. First of all, training your teachers, I say teachers, all your workers, including the gate men, because there are people that is the gate man in their school that abuse anybody that has access to the children, the cleaners, the workers, everybody must be trained to be a good bystander. Second is, what are the educational things on body safety you have around your school for your children to do? What are the things, things in that level? I'm going to stop there, but then I'll hand it over to Barrister Afolabi so that she can chip that in.
Okay. All right. So I think you've mentioned a lot of things. I would just say that the first thing is recruitment. Even before you hire, in your interview process, before you put out adverts, that's the addition I'm making because I don't want to repeat what I said. In your adverts, put there that this advertisement and this school has, I would say, more than body safety, safeguarding, which includes body safety. You have process to protect children here, and every interview process will go through this. That's your first layer. Some people will not apply when they say that as a truth. Number two is that you do your checks. Sometimes even Instagram check, you find out tweets, you find out who the person is, as simple as that. And then yes, we have a sexual offenders list in Nigeria, especially in Lagos State, Nigeria. We have it. We have what they call minimum disclosure scheme for countries all over the world, especially for the NGO workers. Minimum disclosure. So you can go there and check out names of people that have worked before. You can tell them to get affidavit. Affidavit is a what's it called now? You can tell them to do one of good character. It's called affidavit. You know them. You can get police reports. There are different ways that people can get things to you because the country is very interesting. But you can do all of these things and ensure that even when they now come in, there are checks in place that can catch them because you really is not foolproof. But do your best in entrance and also continue while they're inside. So that's the process.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. So I just remembered actually they have a police check because I had to do a police check one time. Yeah, they would see if I have any criminal records.
Yes,
And that's why
yes.
reporting is important as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
now that NIN, we may not have a perfect system in Nigeria, but I believe that they are doing some work. Now that NIN is there, I guess people can have reports. But apart from all of this, you can't keep blaming the system is not working. If you will have a school, make sure your school is proofed.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you, on every system level, if you will have a school, if you keep kids around you at all. So that will be that. Someone said, can you explain all the concept note again about, because I saw it in information slide earlier and we ought to have started by now. You don't really need to start your concept note now. Concept note is in week 3 and you're going to see it. If you're following the website, you're going to see do your concept note assignment and you will see the steps on how to do your concept note assignment, right? So it's not something that is too difficult to like envision. The only reason I put it here is so that you will know. But when you get to that point on the website, you will know what to do. Honestly, it's very simple. You will see the step-by-step method on what you should answer to make a concept note is there. And when you're done answering those questions, you can go ahead and send it in. And make sure you do it on a Word document and upload it. Don't just answer directly on the space there. You'll see the instructions written there. Yeah, I think that's it. We have another training by 9:30 for our mentors, your mentors, the people that will be mentoring you. So I'm going to take a 5 minutes bio break, and that's why we have to end the meeting now so that we'll be able to do that. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We are very excited. Go ahead and share in the comment section and tell the people that did not attend that they missed. But it was amazing having you all here. Yeah, always excited. So see you all next week. Next week, we have another workshop happening. Don't miss it. Someone who will be teaching you everything that you need to do to put up a community project. A dear friend of mine should be coming from, she'll be speaking to us from Cambridge. And it's amazing. You'll be learning a lot. So thank you so much, Barrister Afolabi, for this amazing section. So see you all.
Thank you
have
all.
an amazing rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.